everybody, and welcome to this edition with Coffee Talk. Our guest host today is my dear friend Bubba Grow, and our guest is
Hello.
hello Bubba, love you. Our wonderful guest today is the one and only King Tut. So let's welcome him, King Tut.
That was a good one.
That's a great one. So he actually asked for that one, and he's got a great
Ah,
sense of humor. So, Bubba, I believe tonight our winner is Mark Lambert, and I'm going to bring Mark in on our discussion. And how's it going, man?
How you doing?
Great. Everybody, we'd like to welcome Mark Lambert to this edition of Coffee Talk, and our special guest is King Tut. So, Mark, it's all time, and we're ready for you to ask whatever questions you have
Okay.
for the boy
I got
King.
three.
Yeah, bring it on. He said he's got a great
Okay.
sense of humor. His theme song is Steve Martin's King Tut. So just so you know.
Excellent. I love Steve Martin.
Me
All
too.
right. First one is, how old is the Sphinx? And are there secrets still hidden in it or around it?
The Sphinx is timeless, and there's many, 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 many
More than I expected.
hidden secrets, treasures within. There's a
Okay.
lot that they still haven't found, and the problem they will more than likely not find any of it unless there's some kind of catastrophic event to the geology.
Okay.
Because to find everything that lies within, you would have to destroy the greatest works of art.
Well, it was carved from an actual existing piece of rock, I heard, at least, on the site. So that would, I mean, it basically would have to destroy it, I guess.
Yes.
Okay, second question. A lot of people think that the Egyptians had ET help in building the pyramids and most, if not all, of the great structures of Egypt. But I have heard in Channel that it was actually very long periods of construction and very clever uses of water and balance, similar to the Coral Castle in Florida. Also, that it wasn't all slave labor, that Egyptian citizens actually volunteered to help with the construction at different times of the year, but that it took many, many years to build these structures. Is this true?
That's a very detailed question, and there's parts of it that are true and parts of it that are not. So let's address the first part of the question about the UFOs building and us having assistance with the building of that. And yes, there was, and we did have assistance from galactic beings, alien help, whatever you want to call it.
Okay.
We're very open to the communication. They weren't afraid, and neither were we to accept their help.
All right.
If you read the work of Dolores Cannon, she refers to many times where the population on this planet has been open to receiving the help of galactic beings. However, the knowledge that was imparted to the people here on this earth was abused to not for the good of all. And we had that knowledge, but there came
So
a time. There came a
kind of
time.
like Atlantis,
Yes,
basically.
that's right. There came a time when we used that knowledge. Yes, like Atlantis, and not to the good of the all. And that is what that's what basically happened. It was UFOs.
Okay.
A lot
All
of
right.
it.
Let's see. You done? Is
Yep.
that it?
He
Okay.
says yes.
Okay. Last one. I have also heard that many of Egyptian royalty are actually incarnated at this time. Are they leaders of the world now, or just everyday people like most?
He goes, now they're everyday people like most. He said they already tried that crap, and it's a real pain in the ass when you're doing. It's a lot of responsibility, and they chose, in other carnations, not to have that responsibility, to
Okay,
live a
that
more
makes sense.
carefree life. Hmm.
Yeah, less stress, I would imagine. Okay,
Yes.
all right, that's what I got.
All right. Well, thank you, Mark. We really appreciate you for being on this
Very good
edition
question.
of
Yeah.
Coffee Talk. Yes. Very
Well, I'm a
good
detail. I'm a
questions.
detail-oriented guy, as
We
you
I
can
like
love
it.
tell. So,
We like it. All right, man. Send you much love and thanks for that.
yeah, thank you.
Take
Thank
care.
you.
Yeah,
Bye.
bye.
All right. So, Bubba, your turn, man.
Well, so with his last question, Mark asked about the most of the Egyptians being reincarnated. My first question is, I would like to know, has King Tut reincarnated?
He says many times, but not currently.
Okay. All right. I am going to start with questions I have from people because I might have some of the same questions first.
Okay.
This is from Pauline Brody,
Hey,
and
Pauline.
yeah, and she wants to know: Are the pyramids seated in certain locations on Earth? If so, please explain.
Absolutely, they are. They are aligned with the stars and the heavens and the astrological, um, within the astrological complexities. And they are there to amplify the energy at times. It's no accident that the pyramids are triangular in structure, which is the strongest structure known to this planet and in sacred geometry. They're placed specifically to pick up and amplify most efficiently the energy produced by the stars in the heavens.
Great question. And she also wants to know who did they see as ancient civilization as we see them today?
She says, well, he, my bad. He says, well, back then people didn't live that long. Our DNA was clouded, which caused many, many defects in our anatomy. And that caused us not to live long. So we relied on what was written down from previous people. And he's making me look like he's making me look at something, and it appears to be something that would be the equivalent, if not like the Ark of the Covenant. So I think that he's referring to, and he's telling me yes, he's referring to the writings of the past religious people that would have put together the stories that would make up the Bible.
Wow. Okay. Well, Eric mentioned aliens influenced the Egyptians.
He
Can you give us
influenced
an
what?
example?
Influenced what? Sorry.
Eric, she said, well, Eric had mentioned aliens influenced the Egyptians. Can
Oh,
you give us an example?
well, he laughs out loud and he says, "You need a bigger example than the pyramids? Hello, they're so fucking big. Are you kidding me?"
Yeah, right.
He says,
And
here, wait, but he wants to add to that. He says, do you have any idea the complexities of the geometry and the mathematicians and the equations that went into the construction of that? You think we could do that on our own at that point? We're pretty freaking good, but there's no way that we had that kind of information. We
true.
needed help. And look
Yep.
what we did with it. Too bad humanity screwed it up, he says.
What is our biggest misconception about Egyptians?
And well, he just asked if you meant Egyptians when he was alive or Egyptians right now.
Or not Egyptians? What is our biggest misconceptions about you, about King Tut?
That my life may have been easy. My life was not easy. It was as if I was a bird in a gilded cage. I could have everything and anything that I wanted, covered in gold and jewels and rubies. But I was also counted on to run the country at a very young age. When most children are in the fourth grade, I was king of the country. And oh, what a country and what a mess it was that my father had left, and what a responsibility for a 9-year-old to counter the oppression caused by my father's reign, by his religious belief system.
Wow. Um, is it true that you died from gangrene? From falling off of a chariot and breaking your leg and the bone pierced through it?
No, um, not a part of that is true, yes, and part of that is not true. So this is just a great example of how things get passed down in the wrong manner, right? Just um, he's saying that because of the clouded DNA structures back then, they married their sisters. His wife was his half sister. He said, so the DNA was pretty screwed up. And he had a bone disease from that um, close breeding, close genetics.
Hmm.
And he says, he goes, everybody wants to make it sound like it's some big deal. I fell off the chariot. I didn't go on the chariot. I wasn't allowed to. I broke too easy. I was walking down the street and I tripped over my own stinking self, broke my leg, it poked out, and I won't call it gangrene. There's a different term for it. No, he says that was part of it, but it caused the blood disease and blood poisoning, and hold on, sepsis. So it was a
Wow.
combination of both.
Wow. Um, well, he answered one of my questions that I was going to ask. Did he marry his sister
Yeah, I
with
sure did.
the queen? And speaking of that, I don't think they've ever found her. Um, does he know where she is?
So he's saying that after his passing, um, she went into seclusion because of political unrest that so many people wanted to take over after him and did. And he's showing me a coup, like the people that he changed things. He changed some very oppressive things that his father caused in the 10 years, but he's making me feel like he had a political overthrow. Right?
Wow.
So she went into hiding, exile, whatever you want to call it, he says, and lived out her life in another country. Um, Due to her inbreeding, um, she didn't make it past the age of 33.
And
And they're
he
not
died.
gonna, yeah, she died, she had a pauper's funeral.
Wow.
She was very happy to live that way, by the way.
Yeah. Okay, when in his tomb, in King's Tut tomb, they had two babies, fetuses, with him. Were those his children?
Yes.
All right. Well, now I have a question from and I love this girl. Met her one time. We spoke to her one time on here before. Fabiana Papa Stefani Pizzoni.
She's great. We love Fabiana. Yes. Hi,
Oh, yeah.
Fab.
And she says, okay, here I go. First of all, a few general questions. Number one, where were you born awake?
He says, awake is comparative. Awake comparative to what? I was born with the knowing that was there during that time that, we were helped by beings that weren't from this country, this earth. I was aware there were other ways to do things and other ways to think about things. I wasn't aware that mixing DNA so closely would cause such physical ill and pain. I wasn't aware of many limitations other than my physical ones. So there were many ways I was aware, and other ways I wasn't, according to what I asked to come here to learn.
Well, number two, she wants to know your father had imposed as form of religion fidelity, fidelity to Aten Ra, which then you came to power. You abolished it. Why?
Because it was oppressive. It was so oppressive to the subjects of our kingdom that it didn't make any sense. So many were impoverished and would die because of ridiculous restrictions. When those are lifted, it started to flourish. The country would flourish with population and when my father was alive, it was a means to control. But it was of a limited thinking, and I simply thought about it a different way.
Oh, yeah. Okay. In an interview channeling to Cleopatra, I heard about many elements of a very different situation of the women. Can you confirm?
He just said, please be specific.
Yeah, I don't know what she's. We'll go back to that one. But
Okay.
many artwork of the period shows weird entities, not humans. Did you ever see non-human entities?
Very much all the time. Yes, we were very much so in touch with beings from other dimensions. They came here to help us. I mean, we would have to be. Some of them are depictions of it, some of our mind's depictions, because we were aware of the energy, but they were not of solid nature. So to purvey what was happening, we gave our human image to what they were.
Oh wow, that's really cool. Um, okay, you were very young when you took over, way too young to be mature enough to decide in the lives of many people and various wars. You had many counselors. Can you describe a typical day as well as a typical situation or decree decision that you had to make?
I had to make each and every decision. And I had counselors, and that is why I decided to change the law of the land. For example, I changed the law to where I didn't oppress the citizens as my father did with his religious tenets. I opened that up. I'm very proud of that. Um, to have been at that immature growth stage in this incarnation, to have understood the need for growth and for population to flourish, that would be my greatest and the most proud of.
Well, and I believe that it was maybe the innocence of being a child that helped a lot too.
It was very hard to listen and to see the cries and to see the poverty that was caused by my father.
Wow. All right, now let's see here. Archaeologists believe you were wearing orthopedic sandals. Were you sick?
It all goes back to that bone disease. My bones were so soft, in today's times, in your times right now, there are many, not many, but there are a specific group of people that are afflicted with this soft bone illness. Mine was caused by the cloudiness of the DNA and the close breeding. Um, Today it's caused by, a contract. It was on our end as well, but today solely by a contract. But I could not walk. I had a problem, a foot problem.
Wow. Well, we're going to go from feet now all the way to a little further up. And I'm going to ask this question because she has it on here and I want to ask it. Um, and here goes. I'm glad you have a sense of humor. Okay. And it's the mystery about your genitals. Archaeologists found your body with your penis mummified in a erect position. Was it a belief of back then for fertility? Or can you offer some background?
He's laughing because we're so jaded, he says, today in our thinking about that. But it was a symbol for him to have many children in the afterlife, the ones that he couldn't have here.
Wow, that's awesome.
And he says that he was very proud of his penis when it was here. He liked it. He was very familiar with it from a young age. And yeah, he said it was pretty. He said it was fitting for him to be buried that way. It was like a member of. It was like an object of his affection.
It must have been his best asset.
It's just like most guys today. You know how that goes.
Oh yeah. Nothing like a little penis talk on coffee talk.
That's right. And everything's open for spirit, and he's laughing because he knows I'm blushing. Thanks
Yep.
to.
It takes a lot for me, and I'm kind of blushing.
I know. Oh gosh.
Let's see. Do you have now, May? Back then, you did not have the possibility to know why did you guys have two stillborn kids? You married your half sister, and maybe that was part of the problem.
That was all of the problem. Don't forget that she was more inbred than I was. And I was a few layers back. She was a few more layers back. So count that cumulatively, 7 layers back. There's bound to be some kind of extreme problem.
Now, were those two stillborns, were they twins, or was it the same time, or one was older than the other, or?
One was older than the other, not by much. But they preserved him, and you realize that my final resting place started from the time of my birth.
What does that mean?
That means they anticipate the beginning and the ending, and never knowing when that would occur. They prepared for my ending as soon as I was born, because
Gotcha.
it's not in the Egyptian culture back then a bad thing to pass It's simply a moving on to another vibration, another world, another lifetime.
So yes, they were all intuitive. They knew about this, all like
Yep.
at the from the
Yes.
beginning.
Mm-hmm.
That's great. Who exactly was your dad and your mom? And I know that I've seen that your dad, and I can't say his name right, so bear with me because I might get his name wrong. Um, Akhenaten, Akhenaten. I'm not even gonna try to say his name, but I guess
Akhenaten. Yes. My
that's
dad.
him. Yes, yes.
Yes, he said that, and he laughs and he says it's okay. It was a mouthful then to know, and um, he says he ignored me a lot. I was kind of like the hood ornament on a car, but he worked a lot, and he wasn't very kind. Um, he had a stepmom that he talks about. I believe his mom must have died at some time early, but he was very connected
To his real mom,
to his stepmom.
to his stepmom. Okay.
Very, 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 very connected, if you get what I mean.
Yes, I do now.
Watch this. He said
Wow.
that
So
he
yes.
said there was no judgment back then. You were attracted to whomever you were attracted to, and we were put together quite often because of my father's work schedule.
Oh well, that brings me to this question. I just thought of this question. So if there was no judgment, anything, were there any gay or whatever relations back
Yes,
then?
because there was no um, yes, there was no judgment back then. It was what it was. It was an attraction. It was an attraction of energy between two people without the reservation of knowing that they're male or female. It was just an attraction of energy, and that is what it was recognized for. And that when you have those two attractions coming together, you get love.
And of course,
And
there was no
doesn't make a
labels either.
difference, right?
Oh yeah,
Love doesn't know gender.
exactly. Thanks for saying that.
You're welcome, he said.
Oh, this is a good one. Um, what about the real meaning of so many drawings of the eye and coyote? Where does that be? And the coyote beings?
Well, the eye is a representation of your third eye and a reminder to go within and to use your intuition more than your brain. That was a reminder back then. It should be a reminder It should be a reminder now. The coyote is another reminder of your inner wild spirit to never forget and to never stop adventuring out and learning new things and howling at the moon. He says he shows me
Yes. And
the coyote howling at the moon, like just ready for new things and everything possible. That they don't judge what comes in; they just live for what is.
yes, and that's really awesome about what he said about the third eye too, and because I think so many people now, like you said, should be understanding about the third eye
Oh yeah, hmm,
because that's what our connection really is.
absolutely.
That'll connect so easy.
To everything important. Your guides, the other side, your own self. More importantly than anything, your higher self.
Yeah.
How do you feel about something? We really should be feeling before we are reacting.
Well, I do want to say that I do love the clothes y'all wore, the jewels, the everything. My
Hmm.
favorite time, Egypt is something, and you know, Elvis Presley is so funny because we just interviewed him
Hmm.
not too long ago, and he is fascinated with Egypt.
Yep.
Do do y'all interact up there?
Oh, absolutely. And he goes, we both have something in common. Actually, all four of us. That would be you and me and Elvis and King Tut. We all like sparkly stuff.
Oh yes,
Yes, shiny. I'm
yeah.
like, true for me. True for me. He says, again, there was no judgment back then on what was male or female. It was opulent. It was shiny. It was beautiful. Why not love something beautiful? And why am I going to judge, or why should anybody judge what I think is beauty? Because somebody else has some idea of what a feminine cast would be. We didn't have that. I didn't care. I looked
That's
beautiful. It was amazing. The art was amazing. It was the gold was available very readily, and hell, I was the king. I got anything I wanted.
yes. Now it is, your jewels that were buried with you
Hmm.
in the tomb were stolen by, they said, tomb robbers,
Hmm.
grave robbers. Is that the real story?
No, he's telling me that there is an institution in Egypt, something about archaeology, a museum of archaeology within Egypt that has those. And that's a myth. And they're not willing to share them with the world because if that got out, it would put them at risk for losing it.
Oh, and I think I know which one he's talking about, because there is that where they brought his body to get the DNA from? Okay, yes. I know what he's
Mm-hmm.
talking
Yep.
about. Wow. That is really awesome. So let's see if I have any other questions.
All
Oh, by the
right.
way, I do love your name. Um, which I find really fascinating. You had three names. One was your birth name
All right.
was, and I'm gonna try to say it again.
Mm-hmm.
Tutankha. Wait, I'm sorry. The birth name was the father your father gave you at birth was Tutankhaten. Tutankhaten.
Tutankhaten.
That's it. Yours. That's
Well,
it.
it's easy when somebody's telling you.
Um, Name given your other name, and the Kahatan part, that was because of your father's God.
That's
He named
correct.
you in his God's image, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's correct. That's what I want to know. And then your other name, of course, was Tutankhamun.
Mm-hmm.
Kahuman. Kahaman.
Tutankhamen.
Yes, that's it too. And I
Mm-hmm.
keep messing that up. Um, and I had it so good today too.
He said it's all good, no worries.
That one was your name that you gave yourself from the original God and religion that was before your dad's God, right?
He's agreeing, yes.
Okay, and then there was the name that you were given at your coronation, which was Nebkapurara.
Nepikatura.
That's it.
Yep.
And
Mm-hmm.
you were 9 years old. So all of that is true.
All of that is true. They represented different stages in my life back then. I mean, we told the world who we were with our name.
Well, it fascinated me when I saw that, because I would love to change my name when I want. Just I would love to have many names.
Why not? Well, you do. You have dad and, husband and, channeler and singer and handsome looker.
Yeah,
Ah,
that's right.
that's
So,
it.
well, I believe
No, is
that is
that
all the questions we have.
all right? So thank you everybody for joining us for this edition of Coffee Talk with
I'm
Eric's question.
so
All
sorry. I
right,
was
all
about to
right.
say,
Okay, everybody. I'm sorry. I cannot forget my best friend Eric Medhus, who is just my everything, my go-to, my prankster. All right, man. Got anything for Tut? Was he pissed when that Steve Martin song came out? Did he think it was making fun of him? Right, it was Eric's question. He's like, man, were you pissed? And Tut's like, no, that was pretty fucking funny, don't you think, dude? And they high-fived.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so he's got a good sense of humor. It's been really a pleasure, King Tut and Tutankhamun.
It really has.
Eric, always a pleasure. I love you so much. Bubba, I love you so much. Thank you so much for all your
Love
help.
y'all too. Bye, Eric.
Bye. Thanks again, everybody. And hold on, let's turn off this.